Happy day, children. Welcome to the next session of Force, Work and Energy. In the last video, we learned what is force, effects of force and few types of forces. Today, let's learn about some more types of force. Electrostatic force. When some materials are rubbed, they become charged with static electricity. These acquired charges produce force which attracts other materials. This force is called electrostatic force. The electrostatic force is an attractive and repulsive force between particles and are caused due to their electric charges. To understand better about electrostatic force, let's first understand what is an electric charge. All matter is made up of atoms. Atoms contain protons, which are positively charged particles, neutrons, which are uncharged particles, electrons, which are negatively charged particles. Objects that have the same charge repel each other. Objects that have opposite charges are attracted to each other. Each object exerts an attractive force on the other object. The area around the charged object where the electric forces, either repulsion or attraction, can be exerted on an other charged object is known as electric field. Atoms generally do not have a charge because the number of electrons and protons are equal to each other and they cancel each other out. So, how do objects get charged? Objects get charged when they either gain or lose electrons. For example, when you charge up a balloon by rubbing it on your head and place the balloon near the pieces of paper, the charges of the paper will be rearranged and the paper will be attracted to the balloon. Electrostatic force holds together the atoms to form matter around us and within us. Mechanical force. A force that involves contact with another object and which produces a change in state of rest or motion is called mechanical force. Example, closing the door of the house. When we want to close the door, we first make contact with the door and the initial state of rest of the door is changed and it moves so that one can close it. Frictional force or friction. The force that acts between the object, the moving object, and the surface where it moves is known as frictional force. The force of friction acts opposite to the direction of motion. It plays an important role in our daily life. We are able to walk because of the frictional force between our foot and the ground. Frictional force let us to write in the paper or draw. It is difficult to walk on a smooth, slippery ground or if the ground is greasy or oily. This is because the presence of oil or grease reduces friction between the ground and our shoes. Rough surfaces generate more friction. Rolling objects have lesser friction than sliding objects. Advantages of friction. Friction enables us to walk on the floor. The frictional force between the paper and the pen or pencil helps us to write, draw, etc. Friction makes movement of vehicles possible. Friction acts everywhere. However, it has its disadvantages too. Friction causes heat which damages engine parts. Hence, coolants are put in vehicle engines. Friction makes it difficult to slide heavy objects. Also, friction leads to the wear and tear of machine parts. This is reduced by keeping ball bearings lubricated with oil to prevent the wear and tear of machine parts. Buoyant force or buoyancy. The upward force exerted by a fluid when an object is partially or fully immersed in it is called as buoyant force or buoyancy. The force exerted by a fluid acts in the upward direction, whereas the weight of the object acts in the downward direction. Archimedes' principle states that the buoyant force is equal to the weight of the displaced water.